If you are a man over 60, you are one of the most targeted groups online right now. Not because you're weak, but because you have something valuable: time, experience, assets, and sometimes loneliness. Romance scams are rising exponentially, and the truth is uncomfortable. Many victims are older men. Not foolish men, not careless men, normal men. Men who worked hard for 40 years. Men who trusted the world. Men who didn't expect to be targeted. And that's exactly why. They are. You survived the corporate ladder. You survived the physical toll of life. But now, you are facing a threat that bypasses your logic and hacks directly into your heart. Today, we are opening the files on the multi-billion-dollar industry of emotional predation. We will break down the 6 stages of this psychological warfare, from the exploitation of gray divorce to the red flags you are trained to ignore. Gentlemen, consider this your tactical briefing. Protect your vault. Section number 1. Exploiting loneliness, the hacker of the heart. How does a smart, successful man get scammed out of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, of dollars? People assume it's a lack of intelligence. It is not. It is a manipulation of biology. Scammers do not attack your intellect. They attack your isolation. Humans are biologically wired for connection. When you are isolated, your brain's social survival alarm goes off. You crave validation, conversation, and the feeling of being seen. The predator knows this. They don't start by asking for money. They start by offering exactly what you are starving for: attention. This is called love bombing. They overwhelm your nervous system with affection. They text you all day. They listen to your stories. They make you feel like the most important man in the world. They create an emotional dependency. They become the primary source of your daily dopamine. Once you are addicted to the feeling of being needed again, they spring the trap, because you will pay almost any price to prevent that feeling from being taken away. Section number 2. The cost of gray divorce, the vulnerable window. The divorce rate for couples over 50 has doubled in the last 20 years. When a man goes through a gray divorce, he is in a state of profound psychological shock. He has lost his partner, half his assets, and often his social circle. His ego is bruised. He feels discarded. This creates the vulnerability window. He wants to prove to himself and to his ex-wife that he is still attractive, still valuable, and still capable of being loved. Enter the predator. A younger, seemingly perfect woman shows intense interest. His logical brain says, "This is too good to be true." But his wounded ego says, "Finally, someone recognizes my worth." The scammer plays the role of the anti-ex-wife. She is agreeable, complimentary, and submissive. She is mirroring his deepest unmet needs. A man in pain is a man easily blinded. They are hunting you when you are bleeding. Section number 3. Legalized theft, the in-person scam. Not all scammers live in overseas call centers. The most dangerous ones live in your zip code. We call this legalized theft. These are women who target older, financially secure men with the specific intent of extracting resources legally. They do not steal your credit card. They convince you to hand it to them. They use the damsel in distress strategy. My rent went up. My car broke down. I have a medical emergency. They weaponize your masculine hero instinct. You have spent your whole life fixing problems. They hand you a problem that only money can fix. The ultimate trap is cohabitation. She moves in. She doesn't pay rent, but she buys the groceries. Over time, she establishes a legal foothold in your life. When the relationship inevitably ends, she hires a lawyer and claims unjust enrichment, or common law rights. She legally extracts half your retirement. You weren't robbed in an alley. You were robbed in family court. Section number 4. Loneliness versus peaceful solitude, the psychological shield. How do you build immunity against these predators? You must cure the disease they exploit. You must conquer loneliness. The only way to be safe from a scammer is to need nothing. We must differentiate between loneliness, a state of deficit, and solitude, a state of surplus. If you hate being alone, you will tolerate a toxic or manipulative person just to fill the quiet. If you love your solitude, a person has to add immense value to your life to justify opening your door. The sovereign senior man has built an inner citadel. He enjoys his hobbies. He values his male friendships. He likes his own company. When a too-good-to-be-true woman approaches him, he evaluates her from a position of profound safety. He thinks, I am perfectly happy alone. If you want my time, you must be better than my peace. A man who is completely satisfied with an empty house is mathematically impossible to manipulate. Section number 5, Red Flags. You can't ignore the detective's guide. You must become a forensic auditor of human behavior. Here are the tells. Flag 1. The pace is too fast. If she declares her deep love for you within weeks, or calls you her soulmate before you've even met her family, it is a trap. Genuine love takes time to build. Love bombing is instantaneous. Flag 2. The tragedy loop. She is always the victim of a crisis that requires money. A sick relative, a broken car, a legal fee. She never asks directly. She sighs, cries, and waits for your hero instinct to offer the cash. Flag 3. Refusal to video call or meet. For online scammers, their camera is always broken. They are always traveling for work. They exist only in text and stolen photos. For local scammers, they refuse to introduce you to their friends or family. You exist in a silo. Flag 4. The financial audit. She asks about your house, your pension, and your assets incredibly early in the relationship. She is evaluating the target. Section number 6. The real protection. The fortress of boundaries. You cannot rely on the police to stop an overseas scammer. You cannot rely on the courts to protect your assets from a live-in girlfriend. You must build your own walls. The protocol. 1. Never send money, under any circumstance, to anyone you have not known in real life for years. 2. Separate finances. If you date locally, never merge accounts. Never let her move in without a strict legal cohabitation agreement. 3. The no test. Say no to a small request early on. If she reacts with intense anger or tears, she is testing your compliance. So why are men over 60 the #1 target? Not because they are weak, but because they are human. You have a desire to love, to protect, and to be needed. These are beautiful masculine traits. But when emotion meets trust, without awareness, it becomes a fatal risk. No one is coming to protect you online. No one is coming to protect your retirement fund. So you must protect yourself. Be generous with your wisdom, but be ruthless with your boundaries. Guard your heart and guard your vault. If you're over 60, or know someone who is, share this. Because awareness is the best defense. Hit the like button if you value the truth. Case closed.